Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is well. This is something that I didn't think I would normally be doing. I don't normally do update videos. This is probably my first one actually in quite a while. Um, but basically, why I'm on here today is I want to talk to you all about upcoming changes as of next year. I know it's really, really early yet, but I thought I'd like to talk to you all about it sort of now, kind of get you ready for what's kind of expected in 2026 for my channel, just so you all can kind of get an understanding and what's going to be happening. So currently, what you're looking at the moment is a blank notepad. Don't worry, I'm going to change that. It's just to kind of, just get you all in there and just kind of drag you all attention. So why am I on here today? So, upcoming changes of next year. So, Saturday just gone, the 16th of August, I have just done my video on Stafford on the West Coast Mainline, which went really, really well. Fantastic station. I recommend to you all to go and visit. So yeah, that was done and dusted. Next month, hopefully, going to be doing crew. So that will be great. Nice way to kind of nearly finish this year off. So really, why am I going to be on here today? So I know I've just said that, but this is really the big deal. So upcoming key route changes, something that I have mentioned from my YouTube posts. Some of you might not know about. You probably liked it, but you don't really know what I'm sort of talking about. So don't worry about that. Don't worry. This is what I'm here to do. Is I'm here to kind of get you all understanding and all on the same page as me, best way I possibly can. So the key route changes as of next year. Now, I didn't think that any of us would be seeing this in our lifetimes, but this is what, you know, is going to be happening and is going to be taking place as of 2026. So I'm going to scroll over to an image that I found on the internet. So most of you might be thinking, wow, is this actually happening? That's the question. That's the thing that I thought as well. But this is generally true. Found this was around sort of May, well, sort of May, like April time, if that. Um, so what you're all looking at is the West Coast Mainline, yes, the WCML, one of Britain's key routes in England, well, connecting England and Scotland, interestingly enough, um, which is interesting to see that, trains running from such a long distance from London, from, you know, the southern terminus all the way up north is just impressive. So the West Coast Main Line, what is it? It is one of Britain's key busiest routes in England and Scotland, connecting different destinations, not just Scotland actually as well. It does connect other destinations, which is why it's so busy. It also connects destinations like Birmingham New Street, Liverpool Lime Street, and Manchester Piccadilly. So all those sections as well can even, really increase capacity on the West Coast. It can increase more passengers to use it. So this is something that we're really looking at. But the main purpose of this is something that nobody's ever seen in their time before. And probably most of you look at this going, oh my goodness, this is, one thing that everything we've all been waiting to see for our lifetime now. So as of 2026, so again, I found this around sort of like end of April, May time, but around in 2026, at the start of next year, the West Coast Main Line, as we know it, will be closing. Um, they wanted it, they called it a series of like blockades, which basically indicates they wanted it as like have it as 2 week closing blocks. So they shut the route for 2 weeks, and then Network Rail start working on the parts they need to do or working on the areas they need to do, and then sort of reopen that part again, allow trains to run, etc., reduce speeds, just like all other engineering works. We've had my local route, the Great Western Main Line. We had some engineering works took place back in March for Bristol Parkway, Didcot track renewal, etc. It happens. And engineering works are a common thing, but it is for safety as well for all passengers, and trains needing to run safely across the route. But this is something that I don't think anyone's seen before. This is over 100 miles, and the duration between the two stops is about an hour and a half. So what you're looking at is this line in red. It's the first thing that you're drawing your eyes to. So the southern terminus, London Euston, which is down here, which everyone uses, or a lot of people do use. And it's not far from King's Cross. It's only sort of around the corner. But we'll get on to King's Cross in a moment. But let's focus back to this. So this line in red are all the affected stations that are going to be basically even highlighted there, affected stations off the West Coast Mainline. So as we can start here, there are, by the way, 3 counties. There's obviously all the different towns and the cities, etc., called counties. Um, so the first county that we're looking at, Warrington and Wigan, is Cheshire, and then Preston, Lancaster is Lancashire, and then followed on a bit further up through Oxenholme, Penrith, and Carlisle is all Cumbria. So that's 3 counties. So Cheshire, Lancashire, and Cumbria, 3 counties that you're looking at. So the first part being Warrington Bank So that's for the Avanti services doing the Euston to Glasgow fast service. As Warrington Bank is usually the first calling point for Avanti services out of Euston. It's only for when they're doing Euston to Glasgow. It's only about an hour and 45 minutes. So it's not too bad. It's fairly quick because obviously a lot of the speed is 125 miles up through going up through like Milton Keynes and Wolverton, and there are some sort of speed drops through like Stafford and all that because obviously they don't go incredibly that quick, but yeah, there are a couple of speed, but then the line just start picking back up to 125 miles again, so there are drops and but yeah, you have all of that. But so Warrington Mankey again being first stop from London if Avanti are doing the Euston to Glasgow fast service, so that is being affected. Followed on, then trains will then call on directly to Wigan North Western, and then Preston, Lancaster, Oxenholme Lake District, Penrith, the North Lakes, and Carlisle. Carlisle as well being definitely another busy station on the West Coast Main Line because you have the Carlisle well, it's like the Settle to Carlisle route. I've not been on it, but I have heard of it. Um, and you can also, I think, get to Newcastle, I think, as well from there. Again, I haven't done the route. I'm not 100%. I just know of it. I've heard the name ring a bell before. So yeah, you have all of that. So yeah, this is, again, this is all over 100 miles that we're talking. The works they're going to be doing. So we'll start off with what they're doing. So what are they doing to this line? So really they are working on the signal. So the signal gantries, that's one thing. The second thing they're working on is 2,000 new signaling units, from what I can gather. And the third main part of it is overhead catenary. The overhead catenary it was a thing with the West Coast because it was all kind of anything between sort of 50, 100 years would be the appropriate lifespan for overhead wires. But obviously, it depends. The lifespan can be reduced due to environmental effects like rain and snow and all that, etc. As we know that's one of the main causes of why the lifespan could end up dropping for overhead wires. Um, so yeah, so they're going to be doing all of that. There is another project as well they're doing, but we'll come on to that in a moment. So this first part, January, they are going to be starting this as of 2026. I think pretty much straight away, they're going to be cracking on with this. They're going to shut off the Preston area and they're going to work their way up through to Lancaster and Oxenholme, so closing Carnforth as well, potentially. Well, I say potentially, but definitely. So yeah, that's not going to be good, but again, it's on the affected zone. So I know it doesn't say Carnforth on here, but it is part, or it's literally only after Lancaster, so it ain't far off. So yeah, you've got all of that, and then obviously Oxenholme, and then Penrith and all that. Really, the operators that run this route, well, especially this section because it's quite busy as well, but mainly especially like Preston up to Carlisle, is Avanti West Coast do run the whole of Euston to Glasgow, Edinburgh, etc. but other operators that you might come across when you're traveling on the West Coast, like up to Lancaster, you've got Transpennine Express that are also going to be affected because Transpennine Express run their trains from Manchester Airport to Glasgow Central or Edinburgh. So it's Edinburgh Waverley, sorry. So those two, and it's going to have to use this route. It's going to have to use this route. So either way, it's not getting through. Now they might have been thinking, oh yeah, we're going to do the rail replacements. Now they might do the rail. I think they'll be doing the rail replacement buses from here because that's what they normally do on engineering works. As we've seen, they're currently at the moment. When I was in Stafford on Saturday, they were doing the Stoke-on-Trent, Macclesfield, and all that was shut, and Stockport as well because of engineering works. So again, they had the rail replacement buses. So was that going to? So cross country ended up diverting through Crewe. For those of you that might have seen that. So yeah, that this is kind of what it leads to is diversions. Um, but with this, Avanti themselves, since they run the whole 400 miles, they don't have enough information. They won't have enough information yet. But closer to the time, they will be starting to say because they'll have enough info to say, right, let's alert all passengers to what's going to happen um, and what's going to take place. So yeah, this is nothing that nobody was probably ready for, but it has been in the pot for years, and I think that having this upgrade to the West Coast is really going to help it because it really is calling for it. One of the issues that there was an issue about a month or two ago in regards to the West Coast Mainline. The overhead wires north of Preston were damaged. I think this was on Saturday. It was a couple of days after I travelled back from Glasgow because I was in Glasgow for a little while, and then 2 days after that, the overhead wires north of Preston apparently were damaged. So again, this is a severe problem. They couldn't allow trains to run, so this was affecting Avanti, Transpennine, and Northern, just any of those operators alone. It was affecting them all, so they couldn't be running trains up that section. So again, part of this is why this foreshadowing is leading to why the West Coast Mainline is getting upgraded because of these, to fix these little problems. Some of you might go, oh, there's going to be lots of signaling faults. Yes, we know that. Of course they're going to be signaling faults. Why is that? Because it's a new system that's being put into place. Of course that's going to happen. Every system that gets put into place usually starts off really well, drops down to the ground, but then goes back to being okay again. So that's kind of what it really is leading into. So there might, a lot of you might comment on this video and go, oh, he might, this isn't right. But this is, this is what I'm trying to get at here is that, yeah, these signaling units they're putting in and these new gantries they're putting in is vital. There was a lot of signaling done down in Devon and Cornwall. Yeah, signals failed first time, so they removed the. I think I think there's still one semaphore left down in a couple places. I think it might be Liscard. I'm not too sure, but yeah, most of them all like Par and all that have got the single red light signals now. But yeah, they had signaling failures for the first week and a bit, and then it was fine, and then it was all right after that. Like it was fine. So that's going to be the same with this. Is that it's going to have failures to begin with, or it'll be all right. It'll have failures, and then it will be okay after that. It's a new system they've got in place. That's why they're doing it. But it is important that this route gets modernized as much as it can because it is really outdated. So that is why it needs doing. So, for the fact it's lasted such a long time is great, but it is calling for the upgrade now. That's why it needs it. And I generally believe it needs it more than anything. Another question that might be is, does this have anything to HS2? Not directly. HS2 was only running now from Euston to Birmingham Curzon Street, so no, it's got nothing to do with HS2. HS2 was meant to run up to Manchester and Leeds, but we won't get too much into that. Those lines got scrapped unless they do come back. But I'm not going to go too much into HS2 right now. It's not the conversation for it. But yeah, so basically getting back to this is that, yeah, this is the affected section. Now, big question is, here comes the next part. What do closures mean on engineering works? Travel disruptions. What does that mean? Now, in the UK, we've only got two key major routes that connect London to Scotland. So we've got, as you can see, the West Coast Mainline, but we also have the East Coast Mainline, which is running alongside the southern terminus, as I mentioned earlier, London King's Cross to Edinburgh Waverley, which is around 393 miles, roughly that, or 394, along something along those lines. The West Coast is more, so it's about 400 miles because obviously you have got Glasgow and Edinburgh. So, but Edinburgh to Euston's about 407 miles, roughly that. As I have worked that out, I looked at that on. I go on to this website. Everyone, all rail enthusiasts use real-time trains to see your distance. Doesn't tell you on Glasgow, but it does tell you on Edinburgh. Interestingly enough. But yeah, so East Coast Mainline is the other key route that we do have. That connects London and Scotland together. Now, as one key route shuts, it's going to put a hell of a lot of pressure on the East Coast Mainline. The amount of people that are going to flow from one key route to another, since one is shut and the other's still open, it's going to put a massive, enormous amount of pressure onto LNER, London North Eastern Railway, that run their services between London King's Cross and Edinburgh Waverley, but they also do run up to Leeds as well. So yeah, for customers that are going to be travelling, they will be using the East Coast Main Line as this is one of the key major routes. Is our second one that we've got. There's no third, unfortunately. So to those of you out there that are probably wondering, is there a third? No, it's the two. It's the West Coast and the East Coast. If one shuts, the other's open, more pressure's going onto that route. Yeah. Anything else? Need I go on? So yeah, that is yeah. So the East Coast is going to get a lot more pressure as it will be, as I've just said. Um, which is, LNER are going to have they are going to put up with quite a lot. But they normally do anyway when these things happen. So when issues happen on the West Coast, everyone's just going to flow over to the East Coast. So this is really what they'll end up doing. A question that was another thing that was raised was that I thought of was that can they close both key routes? Now, this is something that really they really should not do. Now, it's unlikely that they would do this because um, I mean, they could if they wanted to in Christmas time, but that's I mean, nobody would want to be using the trains during Christmas periods. Nobody would, because the Christmas holidays is is the major time for where all engineering works would take place. Um, but yeah, so that's the thing about this is that East Coast Main Line is going to get seriously affected, but everyone's going to use it either way to get up to Glasgow. So obviously they'll have to go from King's Cross to Edinburgh, get another train from Edinburgh to Glasgow. That's all it will be. I did find out as well that Lumo are due to run. It's not. I think it's about springtime. They're going to be starting to run Lumo services between King's Cross and Stirling, as I have found that out on social media like Instagram and stuff like that. I have found that on there. So Stirling being a bit further up from Edinburgh, which then makes it again so you know easier for passengers to get to Glasgow if they wanted to go up to Stirling. But most passengers will probably end up going to Edinburgh since it's only 47 minutes away from Glasgow, so it's only under an hour. However, as well, there was another thing. I think Lumo is also due to start running trains. I think it's only like one or two northbound services between King's Cross and Glasgow Queen Street, potentially. I think it was something like that. That's what I've been hearing, unless I'm wrong, but I think this is what they're doing. So again, to help, this form foreshadowing is what's gonna, they're getting ready. So both Lumo and LNER are getting ready for next year because they know what's coming. They are fully aware of the what the West Coast is going to be going through. So then this is where all the passengers are going to be flowing from one key route to the next. So how passengers are going to have to get alternative services just to get to their destination, whether it's Manchester or Liverpool. So for passengers that, want to get up to Oxenham, they might have to go up to like York or something, or Carlisle, or sorry, not Carlisle, ignore me what I'm saying, up to, York or Newcastle on the East Coast. So, things like that. This is where it's all leading to. This is what the closures are doing, for the West Coast. Ignore me, I don't know why I said Carlisle, but yeah, going back to my point, that's East Coast is going to get a lot of pressure since the West Coast shuts. Right. So all of that, the overhead wiring, the signal gantries, and the 2,000 new signaling units, estimated, I found this out, estimated to be at £3.84 billion. That is what I was getting from it. Um, you might sit there and go, "Oh, there was now it's got nothing to do with the train operator. It's got nothing to do with that. It's all Network Rail have got idea to get this first part of the project done with that money. It is expensive, believe me, and it'll blow a lot of people's minds. It even blows my mind because it's like that is a lot just for one project alone. But anyway, this gets really interesting now. The next part of the project, and this is within the affected zone, Penrith to North Lake Station, which is right here, so just below Carlisle. There is a bridge that is also getting replaced because Network Rail have claimed that the bridge is 60 years of age and it needs replacing. It was meant to go up to about 100 years, but 60 years it needs replacing apparently. So this bridge is known as the Clifton Bridge. So there's a motorway called the M6 that runs sort of under that bridge, and basically it's all going to get closed off. So the problem with that bridge is that, yeah, obviously with it being 60 years of age, but what's going on with it is that only one train can only run across it at a time. So when one train goes across, the other's got to wait until that other one's gone across. So whilst the north service goes up, the south train's probably got to wait until the north train has crossed it. So they can't allow both trains to cross because it's just deteriorating. So otherwise, the tension in that bridge is what, be the problem. And so when that happens, it's going to lead to delays. So that's why it's getting replaced. So yeah, it's something that it's great. We're thinking probably, hopefully, they'll have the cranes and stuff to do it. They'll have proper machinery and everything they've got to make this to get this bridge done as quickly as possible to get the motorway back in running as possible. Because obviously, with them closing it off, people driving are going to be finding alternatives. So that's going to even cause effect, disruption for people trying to get around to other areas where they need to get to on the road. So people driving by road by car, it's difficult for them because they can't because for people that use that motorway, they can't go under it. So because that bridge is closing, so they have to they have to find an alternative route. So again, not only is this just this whole work is affecting passengers on rail, it's affecting people driving as well. So this kind of really is all just it's not all just one, bubble. It's a whole merge of things together. That's really what we're talking. Um, so this bridge is only just south of Penrith and North Lake Station, and with it closing as well, and they're replacing it, it's going to cost. It's costing around. They estimated it to be £60 million. £60 million, right? That's how much they've estimated it at, just to replace that. So they're thinking they'll start that quite early, probably January as well. They'll start, a bit later down the line, and they'll start working through it, like they do the rest of the stuff that they're doing to complete all of it. So yeah, that is all of the work that is relating on the West Coast Mainline. I hope I've simplified it in any way. If I haven't, please do comment and say to me you haven't really simplified this well, and I'm happy to kind of go over it a bit more with you guys. I am happy to do that. But I thought I'd bring this out here just to kind of tell you all this is what's going on because I kind of want to make it as clear as possible. I don't want to make it too complicated, you know what I mean? Like I want to try and simplify it in the best possible way. But if I don't feel I have, please comment and say you haven't simplified this. Please, could you do that for me a bit more, just so you can understand that? But I'm happy to do that. But yeah, this is all you know, as of next year, the work that I am going to be doing next year, so getting back to key route changes, now you've seen why I've been doing a lot of content on the West Coast Mainline is because of this issue that is going to be happening, taking place next year. So really, I won't be able to do any content on the West Coast Mainline. Probably, I'm still hoping to get up to Crew Heritage Centre, but I won't. Don't expect any full train spotting videos from the West Coast Mainline next year at all. You might get some normal like YouTube shorts from like maybe, you know, I don't, I'm decided yet, but you don't expect a massive bulk on it. Like, don't expect me to go back. I'm not going back up to Stafford or anything like that next year. I haven't got plans for that. As of a lot of my work next year is going to be based on the East Coast Main Line. So I'm going to be shifting back to that route, working on as much as I can for that route while I've got the time. So yeah, that's what I really will be doing. And also, I really also want to start working on another route that I've not been doing as well, is introduce the Chiltern Main Line to some of you as well. I would like to start doing that even probably this year. Just do one station to kind of start things off a little bit, and then just kind of start working down. One of the stations I want to go and do is Banbury. That's one of my first points that I really want to do. Don't know when I'm going to do it, but I have got plans to. I will want to do it. Um, so yeah, that's yeah. I again, I hope I've simplified this in any way I can for you all. If I haven't, please do comment and say no, you haven't, because I will be happy to explain it again. Um, Again, as I mentioned, Avanti don't have enough information yet, so you probably won't hear about it until at least maybe November till maybe December. But I should think around December they will start saying stuff about it that point because they will need to give as much notice to passengers as they can, as of you know people might be traveling in January, so they will definitely need to know about what's going on by then. Um, but yeah, that is pretty much summing up this video. I hope you all have. Uh, I hope I haven't bored you out too much with this, but yeah, it's just to give you all an idea as to what's going on next year. I hope I have simplified it in the best possible way. Again, as I said, comment if I haven't. I'm happy to go over it again. But yeah, I hope you all got an understanding, and I hope you all enjoyed watching. And thank you very much for listening. And yep, take care, and see you on the next video. Bye for now, guys.